Neno hili si hivyo.
Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, can ODM party produce a presidential candidate in 2027? I am asking that question because Winnie Odinga is insisting that ODM party must produce a presidential candidate in 2027.
The purpose of a political party is to capture power, all power. So I believe ODM must field a candidate everywhere. That is the point of a political party. And that's the point of a democracy. Not everybody will think the same. People are going to compete. So I think ODM needs to be competitive, and we are. I don't know where you've seen those factions. The party leader is my uncle. I love him. He's the only father I have left. There's never a day I'll be in a faction and he's not there. He's the head of my family. I am always with him. That's the faction I belong to, if they're factions. But the party is okay. You know, a party with so many people, over, 8 million registered members, we're going to have disagreements. But that doesn't mean that people should be so excited that ODM is falling apart. Baba taught us. Alijenga hii nyumba. Nobody is leaving. He taught us what to do.
Because the same position by Winnie Odinga is actually in concurrence with a similar position taken by the Secretary General of the party, Edwin Sifuna. Can ODM party produce a presidential candidate in 2027?
Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe. Na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala. Alisema yeye mwenyewe. Akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027. Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, baba alisema, who has told you? Who has told you?
Because we all know that before he died, Raila Odinga left ODM members in broad-based government. But there is one thing he kept on reminding Kenyans, that they should focus on broad-based government until 2027. Could it be possible that Raila Odinga whispered to Winnie Odinga and also to Edwin Sifuna that ODM was going to produce a presidential candidate in 2027?
Look at what we have signed, and we must remain as ODM. And we've signed and agreed that we'll work together up to 2027. We have not passed any resolutions as a party to say how we are going to go into the election of 2027. So wherever you are, don't commit the party to some things which have not been discussed. Let those things be discussed first. We are ODM. Who's told you that ODM will not have a candidate in 2027? Who has told you? So first, think as ODM. We have a clear plan that we have negotiated and we have agreed on, and let us continue to implement that plan. Other decisions we'll take when the time comes.
In this video, I want us to look at why Winnie Odinga made that statement. Because I've always told you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing just happened for the sake of it. And the question I want to ask again, assuming ODM party can produce a presidential candidate in 2027, who is that person? Can you name for me potential presidential candidates ODM party can actually front in 2027?
Dr. Oburu Odinga is our presidential candidate wa ODM na muungano wa Azimio. Bado muungano wa Azimio hiko haijavunjika officially. Tuko sawa sawa. Lakini tunatarajia kuungana na wengine wala wataka kujiunga na sisi hata kama ni wa chama gani wakuje kwa hiyo muungano, lakini tuko na presidential candidate. Na tumepata nguvu sana kwa sababu Kameruni iko na president wa 92 years.
Tutachungalia tuone kila point imetimizwa. Mpaka 2027 tufanye pamoja. Mpaka 2027 Ikifika 2027 na nyinyi mkugangari, you can either form the government or you will be in government. But we are not going to be a party which will be out of government. Sasa hiyo ndio msimamo. Tusimame gangari, tuimarishe chama yetu, tuendelee kuwa na umoja na sisi tutafaulu.
Because that candidate by now should be moving around the country. For me, ODM party, if you are to ask me, might not be able to produce a presidential candidate. But can they launch a serious campaign for that person? Again, if you are to ask me, ODM party is the only party in the Republic of Kenya with structures. And since ODM party has structures, it's going to be an easy task for the supporters if they decide to rally around that particular candidate. They'll use the structure of the party and of course the networks around. But what about the future of the broad-based government? If ODM party is going to run for the presidency, will they continue being part of broad-based government? Or is that going to be the end of broad-based government? Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my take on why Winnie Odinga made that statement. Number one, Winnie Odinga, in my view, is speaking for a faction in ODM party. That faction believes that ODM party can actually stand on its own.
ODM si chama kilichojazaliwa kama siri. Nasikia kuna wengine ambao wanatembea nasi mchana lakini usiku wanajaribu kuuza hii chama. Haiwezekani. ODM was not born in a bedroom. It was not made in a bedroom. So its future will not be discussed as pillow talk. It has been the heartbeat of the Kenyan people for 20 years. ODM was born from protest. It was raised in resistance. And the people of ODM have time and time again bled, sweat, and shed tears for this country called Kenya. We are sorry that we don't always get it right. Oleni. But we will never be sorry for being inconvenient. They like to call us a party of goons. What we're doing is nation building. Nation building is untidy. Nation building is inconvenient. Nation building is uncomfortable. Nation building has left us in tears as ODM, the People's Party, time and time again. But we, ODM, belong to the people. And we will continue growing because the young people of ODM have conviction.
We have two factions in ODM party, even before Raila Odinga died. There's a faction which were fully behind the broad-based government. And of course, there's another faction which were not for the broad-based government. When Raila Odinga passed on, the pro-broad-based government had their way. They picked one of their own, Oburu Odinga, as the party leader. Winnie Odinga, Edwin Sifuna, and the others cannot leave ODM party. But I know deep down, they're not very happy with what took place. And that's why Winnie Odinga actually called for the convention or the convening, called for the convening of NDC to sort out the issue of the party leader. And that faction believes that ODM party should go for the 2027 election as a separate political party, the way they've been doing before. Even if they want to have a presidential candidate, then I think the idea is ODM will now have better choice, whether to side with Ruto, whether to side with Kalonzo, or whether to side with Matiang'i. So I strongly believe that the truth is, she is speaking for that faction. That's why during that burial in Bondo, she had to acknowledge the presence of Babu Owino. Number two, and this could be true, is it possible that Raila Odinga was actually planning to run again for the presidency in 2027? And that he shared he shared some of this information with people like Winnie Odinga. Could it be possible? Because if you look at Edwin Sifuna, who is the Secretary General of the party, there are certain things I'm 100% sure there was no way Edwin Sifuna would do if Raila Odinga didn't want him. There was no way Edwin Sifuna would confront broad-based government. And that's why most people believe that probably there are certain things Raila was doing with Sifuna, or maybe he was using Edwin Sifuna to rally his supporters who are not happy with the broad-based government, so that at the right time, he was going to move with them and find Sifuna already with a party in that particular side. So maybe Raila Odinga shared with Winnie, maybe with Sifuna, about the future. And number three, the idea for me is that Winnie is trying to manage any potential fallout within ODM party over their support for William Ruto's presidential bid. The truth is, in ODM party, we had one man, Raila Odinga. It was very difficult for anybody to defy Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is now not there with us. Can Oburu Odinga offer solid direction? Because if you look at it, even in the broad-based government, as much as there are those who are supporting William Ruto, which is their right, they can do that, but they also need the numbers. Because if, for example, Ruto wins the presidency and ODM produces only 20 MPs, will they even have that bargaining power? I think these guys are trying to manage fallout so that those who are pushing for ODM party to produce a presidential candidate would find a leeway of relaxing a bit, and maybe at the right time they'll be brought together. And importantly, I think Winnie Odinga is raising her profile for negotiation. As we speak, Winnie Odinga has established herself as a potential presidential candidate in the Republic of Kenya in future. Winnie has established herself as a potential ODM party leader in future. So she has to speak the language of ODM supporters. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.